welcome to another edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief Ryan Satin, here with my co-host, Jamie Iovine.
With the news.
Jamie loves when we're on this fancy set.
I really do.
You feel like you're way more official.
I'm a different person on the show.
Yeah, you are. When you're in here, you feel like you're a news reporter a little
bit.
You can't help it. For those of you who are listening via podcast, we're in the same set where we record the Raw and Smackdown recaps with me and John Roca.
I mean, it's the ECW mentality: accentuate the positives and hide the negatives.
Okay.
And I'm not knocking this space whatsoever. I love Collider, but the other podcast room is very cramped, as you know.
Yes. Well, there's supposed to be two different vibes.
Yes.
It's supposed to be cramped.
Oh.
Like, this is the news set. So This is where the main shows
and the
are.
other one's like you're just chilling with your boy.
Having a conversation. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to feel like.
But as you know, we have two more co-hosts, and there are a lot of boy.
They are a lot of boy when we get in there, and it gets hot. It gets hot in there. So no, I totally understand. I also prefer this set. It looks fancier. It makes us look cooler.
I wish we had a weather thing like I could draw on it. Like we had like in football replays. And then this is where he should have leapfrogged instead of Hurricane Ronald.
I'm sure that it is possible for me to do something like that.
Do you think we'll get like a post-game analysis like that, like on the Fox shows now?
That would be cool.
Like with those yellow markers that they do in football.
You're just gonna have Renee Young pointing at things on the big wall.
His foot is here, but it should have been here.
That would be awesome. I would love if they had a whole giant wall like that where they're pointing things out.
So how much programming time are they getting total?
Who? Explain that a little better. What do you mean?
Like I know Fox is going to get Smackdown.
Okay.
And they also get the other show.
The studio show.
So how many hours total? I mean, is there any other show that they have?
As of now, no. I don't think so. Okay. Right now, it's just going to be Fox Broadcast Network for Smackdown.
Yes.
The 2-hour show on Friday nights. And then whatever night they decide for the Fox Studio show. I'm assuming it'll be an hour-long show. That's my guess. So 3 hours right now. Okay. But I would imagine that this is to start. That I would guess that more stuff will. They're dipping their toes in first, and then they're gonna start adding stuff and specials and stuff like that. I would imagine.
Interesting times. More at 11.
No, I was already thinking about that, man. October's gonna be so cool. Like, not only wrestling, but there's also so many other cool things coming out too, like movies and
yeah. I mean, we got the Joker coming out. We got
El Camino coming out, the Breaking Bad movie,
and then we got
there's one other cool thing I saw coming out in October. Also, Halloween.
Halloween's a thing, yeah.
Halloween is a thing, yes. Do you know what you're dressing up as this year?
No.
I know it's something you stress at.
I know, but this is the first time in a while where I don't have a real concise. I have an idea. It's one I've always wanted to do, but I've never been able to manifest.
Blade?
No.
You can do it, Jamie. I'm telling you. It's okay.
Blade will always be the...
the one a distant dream.
Yeah. In another life, perhaps.
I think I want to try and do... I want to try and convince Erica for our couple's costume to be the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, where she's the sweatered, nice
that'd be
one
great.
in the funhouse.
That's cheap and easy. Like, you guys like it.
A red sweater. We love that. Exactly. She's only got to wear a red sweater and tie her hair back, basically.
Yeah.
All I got to do is buy that Fiend mask from WWE.com. The gloves. Very easy. So I feel like that's a good one.
Nobody at home count on the striped pants, because I don't know if Ryan will go the distance with that one.
You already know that I'm not going to put in that extra effort. No. Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. October's still a long time away. Let's get into the biggest story.
You couldn't buy a John Cena t-shirt for your Erica's John Cena costume.
First of all,
it's the one thing that defines him of his ensemble.
It was last minute decision to do Brie Bella and John Cena.
John Cena lost. They didn't have any John Cena shirts at this house show, and he wore the tour t-shirt.
I could have probably conveyed the fact that I was a Bella Twin a little better if I had also bought a Bella Twin shirt.
You just look like a big, ugly, hairy girl.
That is all it looked like, with a girl in a blue shirt.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible.
Hopefully I do better this year, but I make no promises. Let's get into the biggest story of the week. The biggest story of the week, I think happened today. And there's all this stuff going on with Enzo and Cass. You know, we talked about Enzo returning to wrestling recently. We talked about the interview that I did with Big Cass, Cass XL. But there was this story that came out today that they were in talks to return to NXT. That they had been in conversations with WWE about it, and WWE, they reached out to me and were like, not true. It wasn't like a thing where, because I think you go, well, of course WWE denied it. If they're coming back, they wouldn't tell you on the record. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like me going, hey, it was like, they were like, they wanted, no, this is not something that we're doing, and they kind of wanted it to be known. I noticed they reached out to Meltzer as well because he tweeted about it, saying that there's no interest now or something along those lines. What do you think about just the idea of, let's say it were true. What do you think about the idea of them going back to NXT? Do you think it's something the fans would welcome? Do you think it's something that is a good idea?
The thing I wonder first is how this manifested.
Okay.
Especially because they didn't say back to the main roster. Mm-hmm. They said back to NXT, which was interesting to me. I'm not saying this is some conspiracy. I'm not by no means. I'm just saying that was interesting. Like the fact that weirder things have manifested in the world of dirt sheets. But.
Well, I think that the thought process behind it is that like Triple H has kind of become like a.
Because it's not like when Cass and Enzo were together, it's not like they were like swinging and missing. They were connecting. So the only time they ever really stumbled is when they split them up. Mm-hmm. And you'd think that they would, if there was any truth, that they would want them back on the main roster, but just as a duo this time. It's like when they put the New Age Outlaws back together.
Agreed. I agree with you in that aspect because you'd think like. They were never even really tag team champions in NXT
no, they
either.
Never did.
I don't think that
or on the main roster.
God, they never been tag team. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Never.
But I just feel like even though they were popular in NXT, I don't know if they quite match the current vibe of NXT either. I don't either. The NXT where they reign supreme is a lot different than the NXT of now. Okay, calm down, guy.
Are you scared?
So just kicks in the door.
It's the American Badass. Holy shit.
So just goes waving an American flag around the set here.
With Hogan. Being dragged.
But yeah, I think that, I don't feel like the NXT that they were a part of is so much different than the NXT of now.
Yeah. I think the reasoning behind WWE's relationship with Enzo and Cass was, the issue. There's always that. There's old other sayings like, when the problem becomes bigger than the person, you got to get rid of the person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they. Obviously, people change as we've seen with Cass. I'm happy for everything that the interview you did with him was really cool to me.
Thank you.
Because not only because it was a good interview, but it was also because it was somebody that clearly has seen the I don't want to say the light, but you know what I'm saying, like, of course, self-realization, epiphanies. And I always, everybody loves a good comeback, and I hope that for him. And I hope the same eventually is said about Enzo. I really do.
Me too.
Because I've said so many times on the show before, I consider Enzo. Enzo's at the end of the day, he's never treated me poorly.
Yeah,
never has. Do I disagree with a lot of things he does and says? Absolutely. But that's not. He's a grown man.
Yeah, of course.
And he makes his own way. And
but do you think that
I think he gets in his own way more so?
And I completely agree with you in that aspect. But do you think that he'd be? Let's say it were true and he does go back to NXT for some reason. Do you think that he would be accepted by the Full Sail crowd? Like, do you think that he would? You think that music hits?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I've been really confused about the internet's reaction towards Enzo and Cass right now. I don't think it's as clean cut as some people may think. That it's just, everybody thinks they're weirdos, Because there was a period of time where Enzo was the pariah of wrestling. like for a good minute. But now, like, I mean, I didn't see that much footage of that match that he had with Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, did you see anything?
I saw a bunch of the GIFs online. I didn't watch the match.
That's all I saw. I mean, I don't know what his reaction was there.
I didn't either.
I mean, that might shed some light.
That might shed a little light on it. It's a good point.
But, I mean, but
I also think that random Northeast wrestling crowd is a lot different than the Full Sail crowd. Like, the Full Sail crowd does kind of show a little love to people that might not be loved elsewhere, like
that's what I'm saying, dude. I just don't know. I really couldn't tell you. Like, if I was a betting guy and you said, like, I need you to put money on how you feel the crowd is reacting towards Enzo and Cass right now, I genuinely don't know. Do I think they're happy for Cass? Absolutely. I think his booking is going to get a lot more frequent. But Enzo and Cass together, we'll see.
I feel like they would get a pop. I feel like
it would definitely be a reaction, no question.
It would also depend on how they're used, like the way they were to come back. Because if it was just like if they were used as heels, they could get heat if they wanted to get heat. I mean, they could attack the right person and really lean into it to get that heat if they want.
People in that company remember, dude. They remember everything.
Yeah, they do.
And I still don't know what happened really behind the scenes with, him being kicked out of the locker room, him there was another something that happened. And I'm sure that, there are people in wrestling. CM Punk was one of them in a different case, a bird of a different feather, but all the same, there are some people that become that aren't made for the WWE machine, and Enzo Amore is not one of them. And because, especially now where he's had a taste of freedom, and we all know whenever any sort of talent gets that taste of, like, I could do things I want, successful or not, you get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, as we've seen with Jon Moxley. Again, different case. But it just doesn't seem like they, at the moment, see a huge high in bringing them back right now. I'm saying right now. Will they ever be back in the WWE? I can't say. That's it. I think that story is yet to be told.
Do you think they'd be an asset to AEW?
An asset in what way? To the locker room or to the show as a whole?
Television show. I don't think they'd be. I don't know about. I wouldn't say asset to the locker room.
Well, there's.
You got Joey and Enzo in the same room. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't even think. Jesus.
But do you think that they'd be a good get for AEW? Like, let's say they are trying to work somewhere full time like that. Do you think that?
It would definitely cause a lot of noise, and I don't think necessarily in a bad way, to be honest. Would it cause some contention? Yeah, probably. But I think the initial reaction of them showing up would be, because at this point right now, I think what this story did, this false story today, true or not, it kind of got people talking.
Yes.
Like, I saw that shit everywhere.
Do you think it helped them or hurt them, though?
I think if Enzo had not posted that picture today, which proves my point once again, if he just didn't say anything.
I was going to say that.
Then, yeah, I think it would have helped. Because it wouldn't have been their fault, but him posting that picture of him on the production bus of him, because
with the little sly face emoji.
It's like, dude, like, you knew it was a lie and you pushed it.
That's kind of how I felt about it too. That, like, if it had been true or if they just not said anything, it would have helped them.
I think so.
Enzo kind of nudging at it and playing along with it almost goes like, come on, dude. Like, if you know it's not true, why do you what are you doing? You know, like, I don't know. So yeah, that is confusing to me. I'm interested to see how this plays out, because I'll be honest, I would like to see them back in wrestling. I liked Enzo and Cass from day one.
I do too, and I'm rooting and I'm rooting for Enzo. I really am. I feel like this is becoming a frequent thing every time we talk about him on this show. That I'm like, God, I just really want him to succeed because me and him have had some good times, and I just really want the best for him. I really do.
Yeah, no, me too. So I'm interested to see where that goes. So let's move topics a little bit here. Let's move on to Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley had to pull out of All Out this weekend, which is super bummer.
Yeah.
Obviously,
we'll get it down the line, but still, the hype was there.
The hype was there.
Yeah.
Similar to Pac and Hangman, where it was like the most well-built story of the card, just like Double or Nothing.
Didn't they pull the plug on it like a week or 2 weeks before All In too?
Yes, or Double or Nothing.
Was it Double or Nothing? No, I thought it was All In. He didn't perform. Pac didn't perform it All In.
No, that All In was Hangman and Joey.
You're right. I'm mistaken.
And then Double or Nothing.
It was Double or Nothing.
Was when it was Hangman versus Pac. It was good to see.
You were right.
Yeah, because they had the interaction at the press conference.
I am mistaken.
And then like a week or two before, plans changed.
Yeah.
And now we've got their next huge, their next big event on the same level. And once again, they get struck with something. And now, obviously, that one wasn't because of injury. But you go like, God, AEW's had some bad luck with some of these shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I feel like if all goes well for AEW in the end, these will just be part of the documentary, one of their many DVDs.
Fair.
This is like when the whole pay-per-view was blacked out in WWE like in 96, 97 when there was a lightning storm, it's just going to be something they're going to look back at.
Is that the one they keep they on Bruce Pritchard's show they always talk about? The something of the dog.
Beware the dog.
There we go. Yeah. That's a fun episode when you hear them talk about it.
Yeah,
it sounds
Savio
like
Vega and Austin having a strap match in the dark. Sounds great.
Here's what Moxley said when he made the announcement this week. He said, "I'm absolutely gutted to have to deliver this news, but I'd rather it come directly from me. In a nightmare scenario, a serious case of MRSA has returned in my elbow."
A staph infection.
Yes, has returned in my elbow. The timing couldn't be worse. In this circumstance, I'm forced to pull out of the fight on August 31st versus Omega at All Out. I apologize to all involved, most importantly the fans. I'm incredibly frustrated and pissed off. I'll have surgery this week to remove the bursa sac in my elbow and be done with it for good. Should be a quick recovery, so I will be 100% for AEW Wednesday nights on TNT. God, the luck of it re-injuring the exact same elbow that he was out of action for so long on is, God, that's terrible.
I hope it's not the extent. I hope it's not this to the extent of the original injury, because then he's going to be out for another year?
Well, I mean, he says should be a quick recovery, but you would think if it's the same elbow and it's possibly along the same lines.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor either. But I mean, you would think if you're getting something, the bursa sac removed from your elbow, that it's going to be a significant amount of time, you would think.
It's really interesting because I always when I heard this story, obviously I hope all the best for Mr. Moxley,
of course,
and hope he recovers quickly. But then I kind of had a thought in the back of my head, and then Kenny Omega said it in the latest episode of
Road to Being the Elite.
Being the Elite, and basically saying that, and Kenny said, you didn't take this seriously. You went out and performed every night, which is kind of like what we talked about, well, it's kind of interesting to see. Because, I mean, obviously, AEW is a priority for Jon. We're not saying it's not.
Of course.
But it's like you can't, it's like, yeah, I mean, would he have probably been okay for this if he hadn't, destroyed himself? As we know, that is a punishing tournament. That is a hard tournament.
Oh, yeah.
That tournament tests the New Japan roster. Mm-hmm. Because not only do you have to perform like that all the time with your singles matches because think about it, not one of those matches is like a regular 5 to 7 minute.
No, they're serious hard hitting matches, main events. Yeah,
all of them.
Crazy,
and they all go at least a half hour.
Yeah.
And then not to that throw in also, I mean, granted they're a little easier to work matches, but the tag team matches they got to work as well. They're pretty much working sometimes I'd imagine twice.
He was tired by the end of that.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, it's like, hey, I'm back, because, I mean, no, he wrestled quite a bit. I'm misspeaking, but I'm saying it's not something you'd want to put too much stress on, and and also not only were they grueling wrestling matches, but he was doing a lot of outside stuff, a lot of
those little Japanese tables and stuff.
That didn't help.
No,
that didn't help.
No,
and there are commitments, so you can't fault him for that. I mean, but it's just interesting to think about.
No, it's definitely interesting to think about because you think, obviously, the person you compare it to is WWE, and you go, well, that's why WWE doesn't let their talent perform outside the company because like they don't want people who are going to get hurt elsewhere, and then their programs are messed up because of it. Back in the day, WWE did used to let talent wrestle on the indies. So I think that when they got to a certain level, they realized, well, they can get hurt there, and then we're screwed on our end. So it is a. I
mean, it's the second show where their main event is not the card changed. Yes. It was subject to, and it did.
Yes, exactly. I do think though that Pac is a good replacement.
Absolutely.
I think that people were wondering if he's going to come back to AEW. This would seem like maybe they've straightened out his visa situation.
But was that the original reason?
Well, there's been multiple reasons. There was that. I mean, the Meltzer reason. What Meltzer reported was that it was a creative thing, like
nobody wanted to lose.
Nobody wanted to lose because he had this long streak as Dragon Gate champion and yada yada yada. But when I asked, Tony Khan about it, obviously he couldn't. And maybe he couldn't say that, but he seemed like he was trying to kind of like shut the rumors down a little bit in that regard. Because when I talked to him in the press conference after Double or Nothing, it was like he basically said that he started to say that it was like there was a scheduling issue, and then he like stopped himself and he was like, Ben's a really nice guy, like we want to work with him. Which to me, if a guy is refusing to lose, then I have a hard time believing that they want to continue working with him. So to me, it felt like a visa situation because as you've seen with the OWE guys and tons of other international talent now, it's not as easy for them people to get work visas right now out here. So it would seem like whatever the issue was, though, at least it got shored up, and that's good because I do want to see Pac in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that the Meltzer reason is not completely true because then we kind of know what's going to happen in this match. And I hope that's not the case because I don't like knowing the ending of things.
Yeah, and I'm trying, and I remember like he was gonna fight. He was already gonna wrestle Pac at Fight for the Fallen. He wasn't he in Fyter Fest? Wasn't he initially supposed to wrestle Pac at Fyter Fest? But then that also fell through. Regardless, I'm happy that it's all worked out, whatever it was. And you're right. Yeah, you would think if the Meltzer reason was right, then maybe this is just a one-time thing that like, hey, we already had an agreement for you to wrestle here.
You're gonna beat Kenny. How about that?
I feel like Kenny has to win this one. He's lost like all of them, hasn't he?
Has he? No, did he beat Jericho or no? Jericho won.
Jericho beat him
with the Judas.
The Judas effect.
Yeah,
the Judas effect. We're going to get to the All-Out card. I want to talk about it. So we'll get to that in a minute. Before we get to that, though, I want to talk about another thing that happened this week. The Fiend. The Fiend is being advertised for a pretty big match at Hell in a Cell. But the whole thing is real confusing to me because, okay, so the Golden One Center.
Which first off, of course he would be. Of course he would be there. Where else would you have a Fiend appearance? You
mean at Hell in a Cell? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so tell me what you think here. So, because I noticed a lot of these reports said that a lot of these reports were like the Fiend advertised for Universal Championship match. And I was like, that's not what the advertisement said necessarily. It said, this is what the advertisement said. It was the Golden One Center in Sacramento. They tweeted the announcement saying, "Get ready, WWE fans. The Fiend Bray Wyatt challenges Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman to a Hell in a Cell match. Get your tickets now and stay tuned." That could mean that he's not wrestling for the title, right? I mean, like, am I reading that wrong?
Well, it's kind of implied because because we get Clash of the Champions, we're getting
Braun versus Seth for the title,
which means the following pay-per-view
is Hell in a Cell,
and in the wording is either Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman.
But couldn't he face the loser of Seth versus Braun?
I don't know why you would want to advertise him fighting the loser. I've never seen that before.
I mean, yes, I've never seen it before, but couldn't technically, because they didn't say.
I mean, technically,
not
if you
once
want to
does
read
it say in a
that,
title match, and never is it implied that the title match is always in the Hell in a Cell.
It could be, but I am saying that I could see why people think that.
I honestly think it was intentionally done like that, in a confusing way like that, or not in a confusing way, in a way that made you think he's going to go against Seth Rollins, just because of the thing that I mentioned recently, where WWE really wants you to not be expecting when the Fiend shows up and attacks. I think they wanted everyone to think that he's going to wrestle Seth Rollins for the title.
Well,
and when Braun loses, he attacks Braun.
I don't think we'll ever know now.
No, the advertisement's still up.
No, I'm saying like maybe they can very well change their minds.
Well, they could.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think they're going to change their minds for this one. You think they might change their minds?
I think he'll still be there, but I don't know. Maybe like if they're thinking, oh well, we kind of ruins like our
the surprise factor.
Yeah. Then they'll
see. I think it didn't, because I think this was intentionally done to make everyone think it's gonna be a title match, and instead, because to me, he's not there yet for a title match. He's more focused on his past. It feels
like that when you told me that like they're gonna have a Hell in a Cell title match, that scares me, because that means he's not, because I don't think they're ready. They think he's ready for the title either, and I think that he'll lose, which I don't think he should lose yet.
No, that's why I think the Braun Strowman thing makes way more sense, that he's going to wrestle Braun Strowman, who isn't going to win the title for some reason. Maybe he even attacks Braun Strowman during the match, and that's what starts, like, that.
They were talking shit to each other today on Twitter.
I'm just saying.
Braun and Bray were.
When I look at it, I go, there's no way WWE is
You're
rushing.
the godfather of my son, but I don't like you.
There's no way, in my opinion, they're going to rush Bray Wyatt into a title match. Because he can't lose.
There's so much. They barely had a match.
He's in one match against Finn Balor. And I just think that as cool as he is, and as much as everyone liked it,
it's theirs to fuck up.
Yeah, and it's too soon. Like, you can put some work into that.
Yeah.
So you don't need it. That's like after 6 months of awesome storytelling, then you reward him with the title and see what happens in that once you move on to a new thing with him. But like, to me, it felt like he's more the character, the Fiend, and Bray Wyatt right now feels like it's more focused on his past. Like, he's got the painting behind him of
all the characters,
Sister Abigail being burnt to the ground. All the characters, like you said, are referencing his past and stuff. To me, going after one of the monsters he created in WWE would make more sense.
I mean, I'm not, dude. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know you're not disagreeing with me.
I just, I think it also could just be one of those many times where something is spoiled by an eager venue.
Uh-huh.
It's happened before.
Uh-huh.
So it could be that. It could be that just as well.
It could. I think this one was unintentional, though. To me, this seems intentional. They know how the internet works. I feel like that would be a big thing for this place to have spoiled on their own.
When venues advertise their shit, they do that all the time.
Title matches? Not like for it's like for like a house show where they go like a main event title match between Seth Rollins and blah blah.
They do that for like pay-per-views too. Look, I think if you look in your research, I think you'll see.
I think if you look at your research, Ryan, you will find.
I think if you look it up.
Do some research, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah, be a journalist. Jesus Christ.
Super Humman is going to be wrestling.
Yeah, like not doing like an appearance, like an actual match, right?
Yes. It's going to be for a company called.
This shirt's print is so weird. It looks like I'm sweating.
Let me see.
Like
that does kind of make it look like you're sweating.
Yeah,
it's a cool shirt though.
But I saw it on the screen. It looks like I'm sweating.
You're not. Just so everyone knows who's watching, Jamie's not sweating.
It's this cool Pentagon shirt.
Is the other side like that, or is it just the other side?
No, yeah, it's just this side.
No, it kind of looks like it in the pits over here too.
What the hell? It's not though. I swear. It's not even wet.
It is hot in this studio though, so
it's not.
Jamie's real sweaty over here, guys. Sorry. Superhuman. He's going to be wrestling in Cocoa, Florida, October 11th. It's a fatal five-way match. Joey Ryan and Joey Ryan versus Shark Boy versus Superhuman versus Jerry Swirls versus Chuckles.
This is like who can make Jim Cornette the maddest.
This is definitely like a Jim Cornette heart attack on a pole match. Like,
Jesus,
for sure.
there's not one person in this match that he would like approve of. And there's 6 people in this match.
I laughed at Superhuman being in a match, but
why is it? I mean, this is not a knock to her performing whatsoever. She just happens to be one of Jim Cornette's bugaboos is Jordan Grace. She just needs to be in this match too.
just an Orange Cassidy, just to give it the full.
Fuck it, everybody.
I laughed. The fact that he went so hard on Jordan Grace for the performance artist stuff, and then
Bret Hart,
Stone Cold. Roman Reigns is calling himself the best performance fighter alive. And then in Jim Cornette's own comic book, he talks about wrestling being performance art. And I was like, okay, this is silly now. Jim Cornette just forgets the things that are in his own things that he's involved in. But this match, as someone who is an aspiring wrestler, do you dislike seeing something like this where just a guy who's a backyard wrestler that has zero experience is being given an opportunity like this?
Because, it's really what you want to aspire to be. I respect the hell out of comedy wrestling. I really do. It's mellow deathmatch wrestling. And I respect the hell out of everybody that participates in it. Do I aspire to be any of those things? Not currently.
I like that little asterisk right there.
Not currently.
Don't do a death match.
I really have no plans on doing a death
comedy match. Fine.
I have no plans on doing a death match.
Good.
Don't worry.
You have no need to.
I just don't think, you know what's the biggest thing about death matches, and it's like the tiniest thing to anybody else, is like when you have to get up and you have to put your hands like in the mat and there's all that broken glass.
Yeah.
Like that story of Mick Foley when he had to stuff his meat back into his fingertips when he got barbed wire on them. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard. Like, imagine that.
Ugh.
And you can't touch shit for 2 weeks. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, those guys are good for them. They want to do that. All the way. And if there's people going to watch it, good for them. I'll probably watch it.
I mean, to be honest with you, Superhuman, look at dude has made a name for himself.
I am concerned.
I'm also concerned for Superhuman.
I'm not concerned only for him. I'm concerned of where this is going. Because as much as WWE shat on backyard wrestling, there was some valor in their message in the sense that, you could die doing this if you're not properly trained to do this. I mean, it's
but at the same time,
and I'm not, and they'll probably make it where Superhuman is probably just going to jump onto things.
100%. He's just going to jump into things. There's no way anyone's probably even he's going to take a dick flip into barbed wire.
Probably.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
And he jumps into barbed wire anyway.
But I'm saying he'll be fine, but I'm saying this kind of leads to what example? Inspires people to do what?
I
mean, we lived through the Jackass era, dude.
I was one of those impressionable asshole kids who definitely started doing Jackass stuff after watching Jackass, and I'm fine.
Yeah, you're not doing it like this. You're not jumping into barbed wire.
I would do some crazy shit when I was a kid.
You did not do that.
I didn't jump into barbed wire. But we did painful things. I need examples, Ryan.
They won.
Look, we used to do the shopping cart thing when I was taking shopping carts off of stuff.
Everybody else, my brother did that.
It hurt.
No.
You're such the older brother in this scenario. You sound like my older brother now, where it's oh, you didn't do anything painful. No, I did. I got hit in the head with shit,
with actual shit.
Not with actual shit.
Hey, you said you were like Jackass.
I did drink pee once, I think, though. At least that's what he claimed. My brother was pick one of these kind of things, and I don't know why I went along with it. I was a dumb little kid.
Yeah.
It was one of these is lemonade, the other one is not. I don't believe that he actually peed in one, though. I think he just lied to me, but who knows? But I'm fine. I'm here. That's what I'm saying.
You're alive.
I'm alive. Exactly. So I don't think Superhuman is gonna.
No, and
influence.
I'm not trying to say that because also I don't want to be one of those guys that says, "Oh, you're to blame for all the problems in the world."
But he does have those videos sometimes have 350,000 views.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And there'll always be the copycats, but I just really hope. I'm not saying he's a menace, he should be stopped. Not at all. I just hope that if people are doing this, at least do it with somebody watching, because if you get hurt, they could call the police, or they could call an ambulance, or at least try to resuscitate you if you get hurt.
You grew up in Beverly Hills, right?
Yes.
Were there kids doing backyard wrestling in Beverly Hills?
No.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's no way parents were allowing that kind of thing in Beverly Hills.
No.
Yeah, because I had there was a backyard wrestling fed.
We had one at my school,
which
was kiboshed pretty quick.
So wait, it was actually at school?
It was at school.
Oh yeah, that's gotta get
on school
very
grounds.
quick. Yeah, no, I didn't get too involved in the actual backyard feds, but my brother and I would wrestle and film ourselves, and I was just the one
out of that shit, dude. This is people's livelihood, you know?
Oh yeah. No, I'm just talking about it was fun to do that stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Though. I wish I could have gotten 350,000 views for my stupid videos. My brother beating me up. That would have made it way cooler than just getting beat up for no reason.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to say people need to ban Super Humman, because he's living, he's doing what he wants to do, and all the power to him.
Yeah, of course.
But I just do hope that if you are going to try and do this shit, take care of yourself.
How's your training going?
It's going, man.
You've been posting lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah? You ready?
I think so. I think I just need to show people that I'm ready.
I mean, the videos help. I think, honestly, the videos help get the message out there to people that, it's a thing you're doing.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that my coach is also an active AEW roster member now, so he travels a lot.
That's fair. But you can get another person to help you.
I could. And I should.
Yeah. You can get someone to come there's a bunch of guys who are wrestling. You could just change wrestling in Hollywood that you could just roll around with and do stuff with. But those videos are cool. Even Mark here, he was like, that's really cool that Jamie has that at his house. It's still so hot, though. I don't know how you're doing that.
Oh, I thought you meant in here.
No, well, it's hot in here, too. But
it's an early morning or evening thing.
Do you have lights back there?
No, but it's still fairly, visible.
True, it's LA. It's not that hard. All right, let's get into All Out. All Out's this weekend. I want to hear what you think about some of these matches, what you think is going to happen. I'm going to skip the buy-in. We only got so much time here. I'm going to start things off with the Casino Battle Royale. The ladies are doing it this time. The winner receives a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship on October 2nd. So far, people that were announced for the match are Britt Baker, Teal Piper, who's Roddy Piper's daughter, Iolise from Lucha Underground, former WWE star Jazz, Nyla Rose, Yuka Sakazaki, Allie, Brandy Rhodes, Big Swole, Sadie Gibbs, Awesome Kong, and Shazza McKenzie. I'm pumped for this match. I think there's actually a lot of good talent in there. I really want to see what Roddy Piper's daughter is all about. So I'm very interested in this one. But I feel like the winner has to be Britt Baker. I feel like, she's been the main person they've kind of been getting behind.
Yeah, she seems like they want to put the title on her first.
It does seem that way, and I feel like if they want to put the title on her first, I don't need some confusing way as to how she has to work herself into the match. Just have her win this. Just wins and losses matter, like they're saying. Have her beat everybody. It makes the most sense. She would be a good champion, right? Also, she's one of those who is a really good role model, just a very good role model that, she's a dentist while, an actual dentist. It's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
She works as a dentist all week. I was listening to Adam Cole talk about it on Lillian Garcia's podcast, and he was saying that, just the dentistry office that she worked, they're just cool with giving her, weekends, certain time off or whatever, so she can just still be a dentist. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I like how that works out for people.
Yeah, is that who you think is gonna win too? Is Britt Baker in that one?
I do.
All right, SCU versus Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt.
I think SCU has to win this one, no? Unless they really want to. I mean, they seem to like these. They really seem to like this trio a lot.
That's why I was leaning towards the other way, because I feel like SCU, didn't they win last time? They won last two times they had matches.
I know they won a Double or Nothing. I don't know.
I feel like they've won again since then. Yeah, I agree with you though. I think that they have spotted the potential in a boy and his dinosaur.
Yeah,
and I think that they're gonna lean into that, especially since Jungle Boy has been in all these upfront things. He's clearly getting attention. They're putting him out there because they think he's going to be like a heartthrobby kind of person. So yeah, I'm going with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt. But I do think that's going to be a good match. I actually they've really grown on me, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, as a team. Like, it's one of those things where, like, separately, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
But together, you're like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
It works.
Yeah. And I don't think SCU really needs it. Like, it's not like they're going to, like, they lose or gain anything by winning. Or, you know, they can help make Boy and Dinosaur look good.
I mean, like, I was thinking, like, if, you know, realistically they would win, but, like, from what you're telling me and the points you were making, no, I mean, they are, I mean, from now, I mean, upon further review, I really see that, you know, they are really getting behind them. You know, they're a focus. They haven't really had anything. They're never apart, you know? So yeah, I think that if they want to keep going in this trend, then they have to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, so then the other women's match on the card is Rijo versus Hikaru Shita, with the winner receiving the other shot, like I said. I know you're not very familiar with these girls.
I mean, I've seen them a handful of times, obviously. But I mean, I got to be honest, the first time I've seen these girls, like during Double or Nothing, I was impressed. It really was. They were both in those matches.
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, horrible. How horrible do we sound if you don't?
Well, I got to double check. I'm almost positive they were. I know that Hikaru. Yeah. These are the two girls that were in that match. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed with all 6 of them, to be honest. But I couldn't tell you who wins because I don't know enough about them. But
well, I feel like it's going to be Hikaru Shita because I feel like she is someone they're also going to get behind. She is someone that I remember from the show. I really thought she like stood out to me. I remember I was like, that girl's really cool. She was the one that I was into the most when I saw her doing stuff with AEW. So yeah, I'm going with her because I feel like her and Britt Baker could be a dope match for the first episode of AEW on TNT. All right, now this one I know you do know these people. Darby Allin versus Joey Janela versus Jimmy Havoc in the Cracker Barrel Showdown or whatever it's called.
Their official sponsors.
Their official sponsor. I think I'm really looking forward. Out of all these ones, now I've gotten to the one where I think I'm most looking forward to. I think these 3 guys all have something to prove. Yeah. And I think they're gonna do something good.
I think they all got a chip on their shoulder too. I mean, Joey's been on a really, really, really rampant. He's pissed lately, as I've seen. I mean, obviously he's still the same Joey Janela, but it seems that like a lot of the critics are still getting to him right now. And I'm not saying they shouldn't because, you know, he's human. You know, you hear it so many times. You know, and almost like I think it was almost like why me getting a major contract wasn't validation enough to you guys. You know, like
yeah, totally.
And I think he's going to try and not only do what he's known for, which is a lot of the craziness, but also try and put on, because he's really trying to show that he can really work. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that a lot lately.
I've noticed that too.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the gym. He's been really working on his fundamentals because even he's admitted it. Like, he'd gone into the business and he had no training. You know, he's learned along the way, but now he's really taking this seriously. And I think if Joey can take that fire and funnel it, you know, and use it, he could really succeed in AEW. And
I agree wholeheartedly. I think that he has something to prove for sure.
And you know, Jimmy, it's never happened for him. You know, until now.
Yeah.
You know,
when you hear his age, it's like, wait, what? How old is he? What? I thought that guy was like in his 20s.
Yeah, he's like when AJ's age when he got signed, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's Jimmy Havoc. He is 35.
No, so he was younger. Yeah, younger.
But close.
But yeah, I mean 35 is not that old. It's just he does have the demeanor of being younger.
I just thought he was in his 20s. Yeah. Like he has that vibe.
And
I know I turned 33 this week. I'm not calling myself old, but like
yeah, but
that old guy.
Yeah, but Jimmy, I think he's kind of I think he has the most to prove.
Yes.
Out of all of them, because while 35 is not old by any means, especially nowadays, where people are in their 50s doing this shit, I think that he does have time against him now as opposed to for him, whereas Joey and Darby have a lot of time on the clock.
Well, it's very similar to like Trent Seven in NXT UK where, you know, he's paired with Tyler Bate, who's 23.
Yeah.
And Trent Seven's 38. And
Yeah.
so it's like a very big difference. And also, I feel like Trent Seven has a very young vibe to him, too. But like,
He doesn't look, he looks very young.
totally looks. And so I think they're similar vibes there where they both have something to prove because it's like,
Absolutely.
you don't even realize how long I've been hustling at this to try and help the UK scene and build it all up and stuff. So, I agree with you in that aspect. And I think also Darby Allin, there's just something about Darby Allin. There really is, to me at least. There's like something real. There's like a real presence to him that I feel like he's going to be a big deal when they hit TV.
I'm one of those guys that thinks that I think addiction applies to everybody. I just think you find different things you're addicted to.
Yeah, of course.
And, some people are addicted to writing. Some people are addicted to skydiving, rush, things that give you adrenaline. And as we know, it's usually this way. A lot of straight edge people, they have no vices, supposedly. But they do have vices in other things. And we know that Darby Allin really, really gets off on adrenaline, and pain, and high feelings, not caused by drugs, but by worldly experiences. And there's a certain kind of focus you get with that. It's a volatile focus. It is, as we've seen, because I see a lot of CM Punk and Darby Allin.
I see a lot of like Raven in Darby Allin, of just like a deep dude who's like, you're just
he's deep as hell.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. When I say CM Punk, I say rebellious.
Yeah.
Like he's going to push back.
Definitely.
Like,
Absolutely.
Once he gets his bearings and he gets a little older, he gets some balls under him. I'm sorry. That wasn't worded properly. I don't think he doesn't have balls. But I'm saying, when he gets...
When he can man up. That also has a bad connotation.
When he gets older.
There we go. When he has the ability to be able to push his weight around.
Yeah, when he has the seniority, the experience.
Yes.
Where people are revered to his opinion.
It's just like those are such slang words that I'm so used to, but you're right, they do have sort of a negative connotation to them.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I get it. It's this other mean thing there.
But yeah, Darby's going to have a lot of focus, and I think that's a great and sometimes scary thing for him.
Yeah.
Because and I think he knows this too, is something will happen. And I hope it doesn't.
Well, he doesn't care. I don't know if you've listened to interviews he's done.
I know.
He doesn't care. He literally is like, the way he talks about death is wild. Like
the stuff he does is like he clearly doesn't.
Well, he basically said in the interview that I listened to, I think it was with Chris Van Vliet, where he said I want to say he said that, like, he got into a car accident when he was very young.
Yeah, with his dad or something.
And like almost died.
Yeah.
And so he just felt like he was dead anyways. And
that's why he didn't drink, because he was drinking and driving. Yeah.
But the fact that he just has felt dead since he was a child is such a crazy mentality to go through. Like, that's got to be a rough thing to live with.
I mean, I remember when I first met Darby, I was really like, he's one of those guys that he doesn't do this intentionally. I don't think so. But he kind of gets off the is this guy mad at me? He's very he's not warm by any means when you meet him. And I don't think he wants to be.
No.
And I remember when we met, we were working on a show. It was the first time I was on an MLW show. And we had a scene together at the end leading to another show. And I was going over it with him, and he was just giving me the vibe like I said something. And then I asked Court Bauer about it afterwards. I was like, did I do something that pissed Darby off? And he said, no, it's just how he is. He's not mad at you. He
even said that in the interview that I listened to. He's like, I just kind of sit by myself at shows, and people think I'm mad at them, but it's just kind of like I'm in my own world.
Yeah, it really is. And we did the show, and he was a professional. But yeah, I mean, he's not somebody who's out there to prove when I say no, he's got something to prove. But I don't think he's doing this for the adulation. I don't think he's doing this to be a legend. No,
he's not.
And that's scary.
Fuck yeah, that's scary. It's super scary because you're right. He's not. Well, who do you think wins? I'm going Darby. You're going Joey. I already know it.
I am.
I know. I knew you were going to.
I am, because I think they believe in Joey.
But I think they believe in Darby too.
I think they like Darby right now because I think Cody took a real shine to him after their match.
Me too. That's why. That's the main reason I lean towards Darby.
There's two other people. making these decisions.
With 3 other people, 4.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people making decisions. But I just think that it's tough. If I were in charge, I would book Joey to win. Because I think Joey has potential to be one of a big deal for them. I think that the indie wrestling community, as much as they love Darby Allin, they love Joey Janela. Like, they idolize Joey Janela. This is so
fucked up, but it's good. But he could be, if he gets in great shape. I'm not saying he's a slob right now, but he's definitely not jacked, and he'll admit that. But if he got in great shape and like just kept going with this whole thing he's doing, he could really be like if Shawn Michaels was dumped in like toxic neo waste, I think he could.
I don't know. That's a high comparison. But Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler of all time.
Character-wise, I'm not talking in-ring thing.
The Heartbreak Kid dipped in acid. I mean, it's definitely a comparison.
It is comparing two things. I don't know, man. I just think, like I said, I'm not saying in-ring ability.
Because
it's night and day. But I'm saying like that whole, especially young, early 90s Shawn.
Because I don't mean, but like my mind goes to him being like a Sandman type guy, and Sandman and Shawn Michaels are so different. But than each other.
Like I said, he's 100% nowadays better worker than Sandman ever is.
Well, yeah, of course.
And I don't know, dude. I think that if he just kept going, he's not there yet.
Yeah,
not by no means. But if he just keeps going, keeps working, like if he was thrown into the Performance Center, I think we could get that.
That's an interesting comparison. I don't know. I don't know.
I think somebody at home will understand what I'm trying to say.
You are basically saying that he could be the heartthrob, kinda.
In a way,
like a New Jersey heartthrob, almost.
Like, because some girls like him, dude. Like.
Some girls like him.
Yeah, and like it's not because he's like a chiseled, handsome man. It's because he's like he's got like he's kind of like, he reminds me of the guy on Stranger Things who like was hooking up with the MILFs, the older brother. Yeah,
he has like that kind of vibe.
That's
to
what
him
I'm
for
saying.
sure. Yeah,
like he's like he's.
So I guess in a roundabout way, I think I get where you're going with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not going to be a heartthrob, and by no means in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
Not at all. That's not my point. I just think that if they did it right, and Joey's going to love hearing this.
Yeah, he hears that. He'll love it.
But I just think that if he really like did it and worked on his body, like got chiseled, like I think girls would go crazy. Like just like him with the sunglasses, fucking just like tidy whities hanging out with a cigarette, girls would go nuts.
I agree with you in that aspect. So I guess. All right, I think I get where you're going with it, so I'll agree with you in that aspect, because he could definitely, not to the same broad audience that Shawn Michaels. No, but yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
For a new generation,
for a new generation of girls who like that kind of thing.
Yes, and they exist.
I like the guy who's gonna blow smoke in their face.
Yes.
Yes.
He was so sick that day.
But yeah, I'm still gonna go Darby Allin. So you got Joey Janela on that one. Best Friends versus the Dark Order for a bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament.
Well, I want the Best Friends to win, but I really got to see. I think that I'm still. I don't know. I wasn't familiar with their work in the Indies, so I can't really say. But
when they were Super Smash Brothers,
yeah. I haven't been super impressed with the presentation of the Dark Order yet.
Did you like their match, and just not the rest of the Gaga around
when they were in the four-way tag? I mean, they were there.
Okay,
but it's hard to really shine.
Totally,
like in a four-way. There's so many people.
Yeah,
and so I haven't really judged them yet, but they haven't. I mean, also I got to see them work together, and it's just I'm not even going to say that because that's just rude. But
that's polite of you.
Yeah.
To refrain.
They didn't say anything to me. I'm not going to say anything to them.
Well, what I was going to say with them is, with these two teams is, excuse me, is you would think Best Friends have kind of like, I feel like they've lost like every match they've had in AEW.
They lost to El Phantasmo and
Well, that's El Phantasmo's not in AEW.
who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Angelico.
Angelico. Yeah, I'm sorry. No wonder I was like, that doesn't look like that guy. I confused the two. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was like wait, what? Am I tripping? What?
Because I know people were kind of upset at El Phantasmo.
Yeah, people were talking about his whole autistic assassin comment.
Which he apologized.
He did, which was good of him.
Yes.
But with Best Friends, they've kind of lost, I feel.
A lot. Because they're the comedy guys right now.
They're the comedy guys, and they were kind of like not even going to be on the main show back. I think it was for Double or Nothing, and then they got on the main show.
They had to do like a botched kidnapping.
Yeah, and all that. I would like to see them get a win, but similar to like we were saying with the Fiend at this point, they've been really putting some juice into the Dark Order, like attacks, vignettes.
They're not like I said. I want the best friend to win, but the best friends to win, but it's
not the right choice.
No,
it's not the right choice.
No.
So yeah, I think we're both on the Dark Order.
I hope the Dark Order impresses me. I mean, they don't owe it to me, but I'm.
I hope they impress me with my monocle.
I hope they turn it up because I would love to see it.
Honestly, Super Smash Bros. Are awesome.
I mean, people like them. They're obviously talented. I just haven't seen anything in the presentation yet. Like, because I wish they were explained a little more.
Me too. Because it's a little confusing.
Like, what is it? Who are these people that they sit on? I think
it would be less confusing if player dose Stu Grayson, if Stu matched the vibe. But he doesn't. He looks like he's a Highlander who's hanging out with them.
Exactly what I was gonna say, and I'm so glad.
That's the rude thing that you didn't want to say.
It was more. They didn't because it looked like
I said it in a more polite way.
Because when you see a guy that works in a mask that usually doesn't work in a mask, like they stick out.
Yeah.
Like their bodies don't look right. And when I see them, I'm like. Especially the one that not the bigger one, but the tall, skinny
Stu,
one.
Yeah,
the tall, more fit one.
Even his name, you go. His name's Stu Grayson.
And he wears a mask.
No, he's not wearing a mask. He has the face paint.
Oh, I know.
And then
I thought they both were.
Player Dose wears the mask.
Yes. And the names don't make sense.
The names don't make sense.
I guess that's what I'm asking for. Is just a little more elaboration on the characters.
Well, it's one of those things where, to me, you gave them a new name anyways. Can you like do some molding here?
Yeah, give it some meat.
Give it something, because I 100% agree with you. I actually love everything that Player Dose is doing.
Like
Player Uno. I always forget shit.
When I see people love
Player Uno,
Super Smash, the Super Smash Brothers. Like named after the game?
Yes. And they were Player Uno and Player Dose.
Oh, that makes sense. But when they were everybody, when they said they were signed to AEW, they're like, oh, they're the greatest. I love them together. And I was like, oh, and when they debuted, their debut was what it was. It's just, it's kind of weird to debut an act that is not known hugely.
Yeah.
In such a way.
And to not explain it for this long. It hasn't made sense.
No.
It hasn't made sense
like to somebody
whatsoever. Like you.
An entry guy, is trying to understand who these people are. See, that's another thing that they haven't really done yet. They haven't really explained what these people are after, who they are, what they're about.
Well, I'm really hoping that changes with the first episode of the show.
I hope so too.
Because that's really what I've refrained from complaining about those things, because
you're right,
I feel
they
like
haven't had their TV show.
If the TV show, they don't do the TV show, then I have a problem with it, But it's like most of the people watching the things they're doing right now are already familiar with them. It's a larger the indie crowd who's following these people, and so it's like they know what these people are doing. They know these people's characters. They know they're catering to the audience they already have. But I feel like you can't do that once TV starts. You have to explain all these people. You have to try and bring new
who
people
are the Young Bucks? Why do they act this way?
Yeah. Totally.
Why is Cody Rhodes the throne destroyer? What does that mean? I agree.
I'm hoping it's a lot of documentary-like content for the first little bit. I think that will be something that would help it a little bit, because I already like the kind of Road to All Out, Road to Double or Nothing, all those kinds of shows.
It's harder when you got to look for it. you know, like on YouTube. And yeah, I was start acting like finding something on YouTube is hard, but you know, it's like
Still.
yeah, it's going to a computer as opposed to watching it on TV.
Totally. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like even NXT UK, it's not hard to find, but people are watching a little less because it just
And they're
falls
like,
by the
oh,
wayside.
you can watch it on your phone. You're going to sit down and watch 25 minutes of a YouTube video on your phone.
I think there are people who do that.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to me too. I'll sometimes watch like on my like a thing while I'm like in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, but like sitting down like for
so long, can't do it. Very frustrating. Okay, Cody versus Shawn Spears. They each get one person in their corner.
I think Cody wins.
You think?
Yes.
I have.
Because what more does honestly I don't know what more of the story there needs to be.
Here's my prediction. If it's not Cody,
Okay.
So my prediction is Arn Anderson is the person who is in Cody's corner.
Okay.
They each have their own horsemen backing them.
And you mentioned this, and then Arn turns on Cody.
That's the only that makes sense, right?
If that happens, but then there's
And like then there's maybe like a new horseman in
with
AEW
Shawn?
with Shawn Spears. And
wow, what a 360 that's been. Or 180. 360 is just back.
This is back to where he started. Yeah, 180.
Yeah, 180.
I got what you meant. That to me seems to make the most sense. If Arn,
I mean, it could happen, but I just don't know. I mean, I think the build for this, but also again, the addition of Arn could change that. But I just think that the story is like good for this. You know, like
you don't think it's got legs to continue on after?
I don't, you know, but also at the same time, I don't think they feel that way about Shawn. You know, they haven't really been talking about him like he's. Oh,
well, that whole good hand thing was to build to this storyline. That comment now,
clearly,
yeah.
I don't know.
So I don't. I'm going Shawn Spears. I think that Cody beat Dustin.
He beat Darby.
He beat Darby. Well, no. Wasn't it a draw between them?
I thought he beat him.
Did he beat him? I thought it was a draw. Didn't they
it
go
might
to a
have.
draw
Like, I
and
think
then Shawn Spears? Because the time limit draw,
yeah.
and then Shawn Spears came out, hit him with the chair. Yeah, I'm going Shawn Spears here. I feel like Cody's had all this juice since leaving WWE. He started all this stuff, and he wants to get back to the guy who helped him when he first came into the business. So to me, I feel like Cody lets Shawn Spears go over because Shawn Spears needs the win way more than Cody does. Like Cody gains nothing from a win over Shawn Spears. Zero. Absolutely nothing. And if anything, it's a bad sign of things to come for Shawn Spears' future in AEW, where he's like, oh, I left WWE where I'm losing all the time. And then he goes to AEW and like back to where he was, you know? So I feel like if they want to catapult him and show that like, hey,
he's
guys
good.
who were nothing in WWE, they can be something here. You got to have him win.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, you're convincing me all these other
I'm really good at debating, Jamie. I'm really good at discussing these types of things. So I'm going Shawn Spears.
That's fair.
I talked you into it too?
Yeah.
All right. What can I say? I'm a convincing man, Jamie. Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, the guys on your sweaty shirt, versus the Young Bucks for the AAA Tag Team titles in a ladder match. What do you think's happening? I'll start it here, so you don't have to change your mind. We'll see if you go along with me. I'm going Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix are retaining.
I do too, because I think for a few reasons. Bucks have been on fire. They haven't lost. I don't think they've lost. Did they lose at Fyter Fest?
Fyter Fest was also against.
No,
no,
because they beat Cody and Dustin, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
They did. Yes, they did. Yeah.
And then they won at Double or Nothing as well. Mm-hmm. So they've got a pretty good record right now. And also, I think that I just think this whole AAA title thing is. I don't
temporary.
I don't think they need it anymore. I think they need to get their own tag titles. You know.
And well, that's actually the reason I chose Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix as well.
They can take it and take it back to Mexico.
They take their titles back to Mexico, and then on the first episode of AEW's TNT show, that's when they're going to start the tournament anyways for the AEW tag team titles.
It would be so like how as good as they are, as great as they are, Wouldn't it be kind of like, well, of course they're the tag team champions.
Yes.
You know, like it's
Well,
because they've won everything. You know, like,
I think they're going to be the tag team champions
eventually.
No, I think they'll be the first AEW.
Really?
You don't think they'll be the first AEW tag team champions?
It would be pretty. I don't know. It'd be pretty predictable, dude.
Well, I just go, okay, yes, maybe so, but I think of like if you're trying to get a new company off the ground, wouldn't you want to put the most successful?
Of course,
people who are
of
going to lead
course.
you to
But I
success
mean,
in the title positions?
True, but I think that if you really want to push it, like just give it to somebody like that even the indie guys didn't expect. You know, I think start fresh.
I feel like you have the Young Bucks have to like build up those titles with like a bunch of dope matches until one team can finally vanquish the great Young Bucks.
They're
And then they can fade off into the backstage area and be used less. But I feel like to get off the ground, it's gonna be like, who's these Young Bucks guys everyone's been talking about? Why do these guys have shirts and Hot Topic?
Why does
and if they're
everybody
losing,
you say from a different voice talk like that? Right?
that's how I hear the world. That's just how I hear everybody. It sounds like that. But yeah, I just think that you got to have the Young Bucks be the first AEW tag team champions.
I don't agree.
Okay, who would you put as the first AEW tag team champions then? Do you think they go with like a boy and his dinosaur, since they're kind of like it gives them something to do?
No,
too young.
I think it's too early. You really got to put them in the picture first, then have them chase it. Then it's a great hooray when they win.
I'm just trying to think of who all the other teams.
There's the Best Friends, there's the Dark Order, there's the Bucks, there's Private Party, which Private Party could work too, dude.
And Helico and Jack Evans, Best Friends, the Brotherhood, the Dark Order, the Elite.
Private Party is not a bad choice, dude.
Private Party, Lucha Bros, SoCal Uncensored, and the Young Bucks.
I got to be honest, Private Party is not a bad idea.
I just look at it in terms of. If you want to stand and be like, hey, we're the alternative to WWE, or just like that we're like the cool opposite of WWE, you have to have big names in those positions that nobody's heard of.
Okay, well, we need people to come watch WCW, and we just signed Hulk Hogan. Let's give him the first thing we do. Let's give him the belt. I get it, but
it's even different than that because the Young Bucks aren't coming from WWE. They're the counterculture. They're the one. They're who this all happened because of the Young Bucks, in my opinion, at least. Like, this would never happen if the Young Bucks hadn't started being the Elite and all that. So, you got to give it to them. That's mine. That's me. That's me. That's my guess. But yeah, we both, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, retaining. Kenny Omega versus Pac.
Well,
now that we discussed the other stuff earlier.
I really don't know, man, because there's no real build towards this one.
It's tough. That is the real reason. It's really the hard part to pick because where are they going with this?
Yeah, I mean, like, is Pac even going to be a full-time roster member? Doesn't seem like it. Not yet, at least. And
he's been on the roster page this whole time.
He has, but
he was at the first press conference.
But they haven't announced his contract or anything.
No.
And I mean, if Pac was sticking around, then that would help my decision maybe a little more. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like give the first one to Pac. Have 3 of them. Give it a rubber match.
But do you? This is where I've been struggling on this one too, the whole card, because I
think those two together, have them go 8 times, dude.
Yeah, agreed, absolutely. Similar to how I feel about the Young Bucks, I feel like Kenny Omega was supposed to be your star.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega was supposed to be like the guy you stole from WWE, the guy who said no WWE start his own company with these guys.
If something was on the line, yes.
But the whole point of this company is wins and losses matter.
That's true, and he has lost.
And he keeps losing.
Yeah.
And I go, how is he the top guy in the company?
I agree. That's why it's tough, though, because there's great points on each side.
Yeah, no, totally. That's why I've had trouble pinpointing
because,
this one.
yes, you want to establish Kenny as
the guy,
but also they seem to really want to establish that this Pac guy is not one to mess with.
No, the bastard, definitely.
And then you don't want to defang him so early.
But to me, and I could be wrong here, obviously, but to me, and maybe this is just my old wrestling, like the way I viewed wrestling always. To me, you should start the first episode of AEW on TNT should start the build to Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho for the AEW title, because while they've had feuds for New Japan and even for Double or Nothing, they haven't had a weekly television show to build their feud once yet, where they could do something really cool with a weekly television show. And you would think that that's the money match for AEW for their AEW world title. So you would think Chris Jericho wins the main event, Kenny Omega beats Pac, and they kick off their feud.
I mean, that makes sense too, but also at the same time, it makes sense. It makes just as much sense making Pac like a viable threat. Like he's here and he beats Kenny. Not only that beats Kenny, but in viable fashion too. That really makes somebody, I think, because Kenny can recover from a loss, even these many. I think so.
Yeah. No,
his pedigree allows that.
It's funny. I don't know if I agree on his pedigree allowing that as much, just because I go, there are a lot of people who have no idea who Kenny Omega is, that love wrestling, that consume it every day, that haven't seen one Kenny Omega match.
Yeah, you say that, but then you also got Cody Rhodes over here saying, I'm taking care of our audience.
That's also a very good point, that they're not really trying to get the mainstream. It's also a good point. So then, do you think it makes more sense for then Paige to win the title and Pac to win this match, and the first AEW feud is Pac and Paige, like they were trying to do
maybe
for Double or Nothing?
Maybe.
And show like young guys instead of...
That's what I'm saying. Like, because as much as they love WCW, I know they don't want to make the same mistakes. And hiring Chris Jericho was not a mistake by any means whatsoever. It was the greatest thing we could have done. I just think that if they put a fresh company, brand new, and your first champion, as great as Chris Jericho is, he's in his, late 40s, early 50s,
Something like that.
And as great as he is, it's not a picture of youth, my opinion.
No, totally. Trust me, this is...
And I'm not trying to get in trouble here.
This is the nerdiest thing that I debate in my head about for all the time. Like, I'm like, what's better? What's better?
Yeah.
Because I feel like these two matches...
Do you need the name, which is the proven name, which is Jericho? Or do you want to be like, hey, we're fresh, we're new, like this is our guy?
I feel like Jericho is more important. That's just me, but I also think in terms of like the casual fan, whether that's a thing or not. To me, I think that's the most important thing.
Would be interesting. I mean, like if you are somebody who has tuned out of wrestling for a long time,
and you loved Chris Jericho, and you were mad that Jericho never really got a ton of like world title runs in WWE, and you go, wait, what? Chris Jericho's a world champion in this other company? Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna go check that out. I don't know. It's kind of like Kurt Angle. When Kurt Angle went to TNA, and everyone heard Kurt Angle was in TNA, a lot of people switched over to like, what's this thing of Kurt Angle and wrestling all these younger guys, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like the smart bet is to put the vet there.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. I still think that there's we're so ahead of just the Pac and Kenny match right now.
Well, I know. Trust me. It's hard for me to discuss the Kenny Omega Pac match without discussing the Chris Jericho and Paige match, because I feel like they directly correlate, because they're good. Whoever is the winners of these matches, you would think are going to be the next to kind of butt heads, unless Moxley goes back to, or Kenny Omega goes back to feud with Moxley on TV, and he's out for a short amount of time.
It's such a fun idea, one of the top guys in WWE versus the top guy in New Japan.
Yes,
that's a great match.
Totally,
like that's real life DC versus Marvel.
100%. Yes,
And I think that there's so much money on the table for them not to do this again.
See, that's why I think the smart money is to have Jericho win, Kenny beat Jericho for the title next, and then when Dean Ambrose returns, attacks Kenny, and now it's for the title, and they can actually build up to it.
Pac is somehow received as a face, beats Kenny, Jericho wins. And
Pac versus Jericho?
Pac is the face.
I'm not against that either. I mean, People are cheering for Pac's bastard character.
Yeah, people like it.
Yeah, people love it. It's not out of the realm of possibility, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you go back to Omega and Moxley. I also think we're getting a Adam Page turn soon. I don't know if you watched the full Being the Elite this week, and the audio was all fucked up on the segment. Oh, I'm trying so hard not to cuss on here because my dad told me not to. Sorry, Scott Satin.
There's a sign right there.
Oh, yes. I know. I've gotten really good at it.
I can't say nothing. I've been doing that all
I know. You inspired me. But did you not notice on Being the Elite this week?
No, and I watched it.
When Page approached the Bucks and asked if they would be ringside for his title match, and they were like, hey, man, like, we'd love... He's like, kind of like you guys used to do for Kenny, you know, like, you cover me. And they were like, hey, man, like, we'd love to, but, like, we got to be backstage. We have our match to focus on. We have all these things to focus on. And he was like, oh, yeah. No problem. And he kind of looked like it made him sad. To me, they were trying to set up something with that.
Yeah, well, I think, it's not as fun when everybody you think they're all friends,
No, and they're already running into this problem of, like, even in that Being the Elite segment, or was it Road to All Out? One of the two. I think it was Being the Elite, when they were doing the thing where they're backstage, or no, they're at the AEW headquarters, and they're talking about how hard it is to book, or what they're going to do to book the next, like, who they're going to book to replace Moxley. And I was watching it going, they badly need an authority figure. This isn't going to work where, like, they're wrestlers and in charge. It's going to be confusing.
And then they're, like, hanging out with each other on Instagram and stuff.
It's gonna create, like, a weird narrative.
I mean, then we're falling into that whole trap. Well, they're performance artists, so let's not touch on that. Right
True. But yeah, I think I'll just combine them all. I think Kenny Omega wins. Kenny Omega beats Pac. I think Chris Jericho beats Page. Page, sad over the loss and not fulfilling his promise of being the first AEW champion, takes his anger out on the Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody. And maybe then we even get a Cody versus Hangman Page feud once TV starts and Page turns, and then we kind of break up the Elite a little bit as we start.
This far ahead.
You got a headache just thinking about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kenny versus Omega versus Pac. Final answer. Who do you think?
I want Pac to win.
Pac to win.
Yeah.
AEW World Championship.
Jericho.
Yeah. Jericho versus Pac after, like you said?
Yeah, because, then I'm thinking back to my old Booker mentality. The babyface is always better when they're chasing, and this is that case.
All right, I like it. I want to hear from you guys, though. Make sure you guys hit up the comments below. Tell me who you guys think are going to win these matches. Tell me what you think about all these top stories of the week. Do you want to see Enzo and Cass return to WWE? Do you want to see The Fiend in a title match, or do you hope that he's just in a Hell in a Cell match without a title behind it? What do you think about Super Humman? Tell me all of it in the comments below. And while you're here, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All that stuff. It helps keep the lights on here. I appreciate it very much. Jamie, where can people find you at?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on Twitter at JAMIE_IOVINE or on Instagram at JAMIEIOVINE. You could check me and my upper class family out every weekend. It's Saturdays now on Fight, as well as other like K-Doc and other was it K-Doc?
KDOC,
no, yep. And other platforms as well.
No, it's actually, I think it's like I saw Dave announce a new place it's going.
Yeah, there is. There was a new one. I think Houston.
Houston? Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
So we're coming to Houston fairly soon. And also, hey, if you know about those pants I did with Chalkline, the Superstar entrance pants, they are we have currently the only product out we have more coming, but the Bret Hart ones, they sold out. Well,
cool.
Yeah, except for a few XLs on the shop, so only XL is available on WWE shop. But have no fear, Chalkline has restocked on their website. So if you want to get some of those Bret Hart pants, go to Chalkline's website. And I don't want to just say chalkline.com because that might not be it.
I don't think it is. I've looked for them before. They have confusing URLs.
Yeah, so look up Chalkline. It's not hard to find. And buy those pants. They're fun. They're comfy. And
what was that cool thing? You posted a really cool network this week, too. Like that you were selling, like a toy. Was there some kind of action figure that you were selling recently on? Maybe I'm wrong. I gotta go look at your pictures. I remember being like, that's really cool, a thing that you posted this week that you guys were selling.
We do a few collectibles, so I don't know.
Maybe it was that Joker thing you teased. forget what it was. I got to go back and look. But yeah, make sure you guys check out the network as well.
Yeah, well, I can't say much about that.
You teased it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a tease.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. Like I said, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where all the videos are at, and all the podcasts. The audio of all these shows can be found in the podcast feed. It's available. It's on all the major podcast platforms. So just search Wrestling Sheet Radio. Okay, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the show.